How are you? Today, our topic of discussion is electrical properties of solids. Electrical properties of solids. Now, in the electrical properties, we will study about conductors, semiconductors, and insulators. So, on the basis of electrical conductance, solid may be divided into three types. One is conductors. Conductors whose electrical conductance is in the range of 10 raised to power 4 to 10 to power 7 ohm inverse per meter. And then there is semi conductors whose conductance is in range of 10 to power 4 to 10 to power minus 6 ohm inverse meter inverse. And insulators, their conductance is in range of 10 to power minus 10 to 10 to power minus 20 ohm inverse meter inverse. In simple terms, conductors, they allow the electricity to pass through them. Semiconductors, they allow partially the electricity to pass through them. And insulators, they are poor conductors, they do not allow the electricity to pass through them. Now, to study the behavior of conductors, semiconductors, and insulators, it can be explained by extending the simple molecular orbital theory to a new theory that is called as band theory. Band theory is an extension of molecular orbital theory. Now, in the molecular orbital theory, you have studied that there are two atomic orbitals. They combine to form two molecular orbitals. Now, if we number of atomic orbital, if we increase the number of atomic orbitals, then the number of molecular orbitals also increase. Suppose we will explain with the help of a diagram. This is the formation of bands. Look here, there are simple two atomic orbitals. When they combine, they form two molecular orbitals. One is the bonding molecular orbital, which has energy lower than the atomic orbital. Other is the anti-bonding molecular orbital, having energy more than the atomic orbital. Now, there are two atomic orbitals. If we increase the number of atomic orbital to 4, now there are 4 atomic orbitals combining. Now 4, they will give 2 anti-bonding and 2 bonding. 2 bonding are in the lower energy side and 2 anti-bonding are in higher energy side. Now these 2 atomic orbitals, they are now closer in energy. Now if we increase the number of atomic orbital to n may be thousands or even millions. Now if n separate atoms, atomic orbitals, they combine, now number of atomic orbitals are formed. Now these number of atomic orbitals are very close in energy. Number of molecular orbitals, they are very close in energy, and this number of molecular orbitals which are close in energy, they form a separate band, and it is called as band theory. Forms the basis of band theory. It can be explained. I have another diagram, that is the band composition in case of magnesium. Now there is magnesium, atomic number 12, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. Now this is for one atom, 1s2. Now if the atom number of atoms are large, so they form a separate band. Band means here there are number of orbitals are very large. Now here 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, so they are forming a bands. Here the number of molecular orbitals are very large. Now this is 3s2. 3s2 is forming also molecular orbitals, a band of orbitals. Now this is the highest occupied molecular orbital. The highest occupied molecular orbital is also called as valence band. After 3s there is 3p. 3p is an empty orbital. Empty orbital is the lowest unoccupied molecular orbital, it is called as valence conduction band. So there is valence band and conduction band. I will continue. There are two types of bands. One is called as valence band, other is called as conduction band. Valence band is occupied band of highest energy, and conduction band is empty band of lowest energy. So highest occupied band, valence band, lowest empty band, that is conduction band. Now electrons, if they are in valence band, they do not take part in the electrical conduction. Now when they go to the conduction band, they start participating in conduction of electricity. So more is the number of electrons in conduction band, more is the conductivity of the conductor. If the electrons are conduction band is less, the conductivity of the metal is, or the substance is also less. Now on the basis of this, we can have three types of substances: conductors, semiconductors and insulators. We can define them in terms of band theory. Now this is the diagram. Now this is the energy. Now in case of conductors, the valence band and conduction band, they are very close to each other, they are adjacent or they are overlapping. So the electrons, they do not need any energy to go from valence band to conduction band. So number of electrons can easily pass from valence band to conduction band, and they start conducting electricity. Electrons in conduction band is free and mobile, they can move throughout the crystal. Now in case of semiconductors, the gap between the valence band and conduction band, the gap between the valence band and conduction band is also called as forbidden gap or forbidden zone. This gap is small gap. Not all the electrons, but few electrons can jump from valence band to conduction band. So it conducts the electricity, but to a very less extent than a good conductor. Now third category is insulator. In case of insulator, the forbidden gap is very large, that electrons are not able to jump from valence band to conduction band. So electrons, they remain in valence band, and conduction band there is no electrons, that's why they do not conduct electricity. So this is the conductor, semiconductor and insulator in terms of band theory. Next we will study about the semiconductors. Semiconductors. Now semiconductors, as already told, they allow electricity partially to pass through them because the gap between the valence band and conduction band is too small. Now semiconductors, they are also of two types. One is called as intrinsic semiconductors. Intrinsic semiconductors. Now some substances like silicon and germanium, they behave as insulators. Silicon and germanium, they behave as insulators at room temperature. Now upon heating, they start conducting electricity. Now what happens upon heating? Some of the electrons, now suppose a silicon is a tetravalent, it forms 4 bonds and a network of silicon. Now when we heat silicon, some of the bonds are broken, that set number of electrons free. Now these free electrons, they gain energy from the heat and goes from the valence band to conduction band. Not all the electrons, very few electrons. And very few electrons, when they go from valence band to conduction band, they start conducting electricity. So silicon and germanium, which are otherwise insulators, they start conducting electricity to some extent at higher temperature. Such semiconductors are called as intrinsic semiconductors. Now next is the extrinsic semiconductors. Extrinsic semiconductors. Now conductivity of silicon and germanium, even if they are at high temperature, is very too small to be of practical importance. Their conductivity can be increased. By adding appropriate amount of some impurity. This process is called as doping. This process is called as doping. Now we can have two types of extrinsic semiconductor. First is by adding electron rich impurities. Now silicon, it belongs to group 14 and has 4 electrons in valence shell. So silicon is a tetravalent having 4 electrons. Now when it is doped with some group 15 element, group 15 elements are pentavalent having 5 electrons. Suppose silicon is doped with a pentavalent arsenic, As. Arsenic has 5 electrons. It forms 4 bonds with neighboring silicon, but 1 electron is set free. Now that electron which do not participate in bonding causes the conduction of electricity in the silicon, and that type of semiconductors are called as N-type semiconductors or electron rich semiconductors. Now for example, this is the silicon crystal which is tetravalent. Now in this, the silicon is doped with arsenic. Now there is an arsenic is pentavalent. It forms 4 bonds, but it has 5 electrons. 1 electron is set free. This free electrons is responsible for the electrical conductance, and such semiconductors are called as N-type semiconductors. Now other type of semiconductors are, second type of semiconductors, extrinsic semiconductors, are electron deficient semiconductors. Now again, silicon which is tetravalent, when silicon is doped with Group 13 element. Group 13 element like aluminium, gallium or indium. They are group 13. They have 3 electrons in valence shell. Now suppose indium is doped. Now indium can form 3 bonds. Here silicon, but indium cannot form here bond. So here is a hole called electron hole. There is a vacancy of electron. Now this hole behaves just opposite to that of electron. Electron from silicon goes here and hole goes there. In the same way, when the electron moves in this direction, hole will move in this direction, and due to the movement of this hole, the crystal starts conducting electricity, and such type of semiconductors are called as p-type semiconductors. Now this is the silicon. Now it is doped with indium. Now all the silicons are forming 4 bonds, but silicon can form 3 bonds. Now here there is a electron hole. Hole moves just opposite to direction of electrons, and this is a p-type semiconductors. Now this n-type and p-type semiconductors, they find a wide applications in the formation of p-n junctions, integrated circuits and other electronic devices. This is about the electrical properties of solids. In the next video we will study about the magnetic properties. Keep watching. Thank you very much.